Oh, hey, it is Monday, April 4th, and I would love to get back on my vlogging game a little bit here. So I think the last time I vlogged was in January, and I am just now in the process of actually getting that posted. It is edited and uploaded, but I just need to do some of the final processing for it before making it live. And so it's been a minute. It's been a busy couple of months. But I wanted to get back on vlogging for April, mostly for the Magical Readathon. I'll link my TBR down below if you didn't check it out and are curious about what I might be reading for the Magical Readathon, but I thought it would be fun to just document the Magical Readathon. It's also my birthday month, and so I just thought it would be fun, you know? And so one of the things that I first started with at the very beginning of April was Loveless by Oseman, and this is a contemporary story that follows Georgia, who is going off to college or university and is questioning whether or not she is sexually attracted to people at all, and is trying to figure that out, and just figuring out growing up and going off to university and all that good stuff. So I'm about, I'd say between a quarter and a third of the way done with that one. So that is my first book that I picked up this month. I also, this weekend on the 2nd and 3rd of April, was actually out of town going to a wedding, which was absolutely delightful. In the car ride, my boyfriend and I listened to The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley, and actually got to listen to the entire thing while we were in the car, which was a lot of fun. He and I both actually really enjoyed this one. It is slow paced, which is something that I thought would be the case having read The Guest List by Lucy Foley, and I think at the time I read that, which was a decent amount of time ago. I think I read it in 2020. Anyway, I think at the time I wanted something faster paced, and so I didn't end up loving it because I think it wasn't what I was in the mood for at the time. But having read The Guest List and having a better sense of her writing style and kind of the pacing of at least that book, I haven't read The Hunting Party, but I figured it might be a bit slower, and it indeed was. But I still had a lot of fun with it, and actually there were a lot of parallels I found to Ruth Ware's writing, which was interesting. I'll talk more about that later, but I just wanted to kind of get a quick intro clip to say that I am starting a vlog for the month. I think I'm going to do a couple 2-week vlogs, I think might be how I work this out. We'll see, but I at least wanted to go ahead and get this one started and opened and say that I have read one book via audio in the car and am a quarter to a third of the way through the next one. After work today, am going to be packing up to just hang out at my boyfriend's place for the week, and so I'm going to be taking Loveless, and I still need to figure out what else I might want to take with me. I do have Witches Steeped in Gold, the audiobook for this, checked out at the library, so I think I'm going to take that because I want to make sure to give that one a go before I need to return the audiobook. And then I also have checked out at the library the audiobook for A City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare, and so I think I will take those couple. I might take On a Sunbeam as well, but I'm not really sure. We'll see. I always get very overambitious with how many books I bring if I'm hanging out at his place for a while. But hi, I hope you're doing well, and this won't be a vlog I think where I frequently check in. I think this will be a periodic check-in kind of vlog over the course of a couple of weeks, and we'll just see how the reading goes. So I'll check in later. So it is a week later. It's Monday, April 11th. Oops, I meant to check in at least once last week after filming that first clip, but didn't end up happening. But I did mention one thing that I finished, and that is The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. My boyfriend and I listened to the audiobook of this while going to and from a wedding, and I managed to listen to the whole thing in the car, and we both actually really enjoyed it. And as I mentioned, I think in the first clip, I now kind of knew a little bit more what to expect going into one of her books, just having read The Guest List. So I suspected that it would be a slower paced mystery. And that is indeed what it was. It was pretty slowly paced. Of course, there are some more intense moments, but for the most part, it's pretty slowly paced, so that's something to keep in mind. And I mentioned that it really reminded me of Ruth Ware. So if you're a fan of Ruth Ware, I think you might actually really enjoy this one. There are a few elements that tend to be prominent in Ruth Ware's books that I think were also in this one that I enjoyed. So if I'm in the mood for a slower paced mystery, or I'm in the mood for that kind of slow creep and for that creep factor to just slowly amp up throughout the book, that is something that Ruth Ware does really well, and that's something that was also present in this one. So there might not be huge things that happen from moment to moment, but it's just little things that keep adding on each other to kind of slowly build a sense of unease or a sense of mistrusting certain characters. You tend to not always be sure about who to trust, or how the main character is feeling about different people. It also, Ruth Ware's books and this one tend to take place in relatively confined set of spaces. So, either they're snowed in at a lodge, for example, in Ruth Ware's most recent book, or, they're at a house or at a manor or something, and maybe they go a couple of other places, but it tends to be focused in that one place. So that was the case with this apartment building. And you follow Jess, who was expecting to stay with her brother. She's down on her luck. She wants to be able to stay with him for a little bit just to get back on her feet. He agrees to let her stay. He's pretty reluctant about it, which she thinks is just kind of an indication about how he feels about her, but he ultimately agrees. They don't have the best relationship, but he agrees to let her stay. But when she gets to Paris, he's not answering the door. He's not answering his phone. And so she's trying to figure out what's going on. Did he accidentally forget? Did he stay over somewhere and, lost track of time? Did he fall asleep at a friend's place and just kind of, lose track of time that way? At first she's trying to figure out what's going on, but isn't too concerned, but just grows increasingly concerned as he's not responding to her. She doesn't know where he is. She's starting to talk to some of the people in the building, and she's just getting an off vibe from all of the people in this relatively small building. And so she is tracking down any sort of clue that she can find to figure out what has gone on with her brother, and what's going on with the people in this apartment building. And it was fun. It was entertaining and interesting, even though it was slow paced. I'm still just intrigued by the setting. I think the vibe was there. And we just had a really good time with it, both of us did. But I think if you're a fan of a good chunk of Ruth Ware's books, I think you might enjoy this one. The next book that I finished last week was Loveless by Oseman. I absolutely love this one. So this one follows Georgia, who is going off to college. So it starts kind of after the end of high school. She's kind of getting ready for college. She's about to move to college, and she ends up with a roommate, which she wasn't expecting at first. And so she's getting there. She's meeting her roommate. Her roommate is a very different person than she is, and so she's trying to figure out herself. Basically, she hasn't really had any crushes on anyone. She's never kissed anyone, and at first she thinks, and I tabbed a bunch of things that were super relatable in this. So I don't identify as asexual, but demisexual is something that has really resonated with me. And so even though I can't completely relate to Georgia's experience here, there was a lot that I could relate to as she's starting to ask, well, who am I attracted to? What situations might I be attracted to someone? What kind of attraction is it? Is it a sexual attraction, romantic attraction? Oh, those are two different things. Okay, and as she's talking to people about her experiences and how that contrasts with theirs, and she also makes some friends in a she makes a bunch of friends that she's basically able to talk to kind of contrast her experience with theirs or relate her experience to theirs in certain situations to help her figure out what that means for her. What is asexual, what is aromantic, does that relate to her experiences, what does that mean for her going forward. And you also see, so I love Georgia as a main character. I also really love a lot of the side characters. Of course there are some messy situations, but it all felt very real. You really got in Georgia's head and really kind of understood, at least I could very much understand her thought processes, understand her fears and concerns, and kind of what she was thinking. It also in part centers around this group of characters putting on a Shakespeare play, which was interesting. So I really adored this one a lot, and I think if you I think anyone should read this. Like I think a lot of people I think a lot of people, if you want to kind of get into the mindset of someone who's asexual, aromantic, just to either understand, maybe it'll help you understand yourself better if those are experiences you can relate to, which is I think super helpful, or just you want to be able to have a better understanding of what that is, what it feels like, what the experience is like, and be able to just understand that a little bit better, I think is incredibly important. So I definitely really loved this one. I haven't read anything else by Alice Oseman, but I am very excited to do so. So that's what I finished last week. I then turned to City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare, and I'm a bit over halfway through this one, and I also read this while doing some reading sprints with the lovely Sarah and the lovely Kim, so I'll leave their channels linked down below, but we got to do some reading sprints yesterday. I'll also leave the actual sprints down there if they're still up. So I'll leave all that below, but it was so much fun. I got to read a bit of this during that as well. I was already close to 200 pages in when starting the sprints, but I'm having a good time with this one. This is, again, the second book in the Shadowhunter, or the Mortal Instruments series in the Shadowhunter world by Cassandra Clare. So we pick up where we leave off in the first one, where Clare is dealing with kind of the implications of some things that have happened at the end of the first book, and she's continuing to try to figure out what their next move should be to try to prevent some bad things from happening. And there are some things about different characters that you learn along the way, and it's been pretty entertaining so far. I'm having a good time. Of course, there's a bunch of angsty YA teenage drama, so if that's something that you just don't like in your books, then you might not be interested in the series to begin with anyway. But it's been an entertaining time. I'm having a good time with it. And then I also just started Witches Steeped in Gold by Shannon Smart. I've taken the dust jacket off, and this is, again, the beautiful Fairy Loot edition. So I've just started reading this physically, so I'm not very far in. I'm 36 pages in, so not too many thoughts on this so far. I'm intrigued by the setup. I'll talk more about the setup and some more initial thoughts once I've read a bit more. And hopefully I will be better this week about getting some periodic clips in to update you on my reading. But yeah, that'll do for the moment, and I will check in soon. Oh hey, it is a few days later. It is Thursday, April 14th. So let me catch you up just a little bit. I did finish City of Ashes yesterday morning. Yesterday morning, and I had a really fun time with it. It's, classic YA fantasy, I guess, but it's just fun. It's just a good time. Of course, I can get angsty and dramatic. I don't like the romantic elements in this series so far, but there are just other things that I'm just having a good time with and enjoying. Some of the other character dynamics, some of the banter. It's a pretty fast-paced series where stuff just kind of keeps happening. So, you know, overall having a good time with it and excited to continue. After I finished that, I did start, this is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I've taken the dust jacket off, but I am over 100 pages in. I think I'm 125 pages or so in, 134 pages in to that one. And I haven't read much more of Witches Steeped in Gold by Shannon Smart, so I might talk about that one more later in this vlog, I might not. But I have started that one, and again, just a fun start. It just seems like a super cute and fun story. I'm having a good time with it. It follows Evangeline, who is devastated to find out that the one person that she is loved is about to marry her stepsister, and she's convinced that her stepmom has something to do with this, that she has cursed her stepsister and this guy and is somehow doing something to make sure that this can be arranged. And so she makes a deal with the Prince of Hearts, and she makes a deal with him to stop the wedding, and he asks for 3 kisses of his design. So he can't kiss her, that will apparently kill her, but he can tell her to kiss other people 3 times, and she needs to do it. And so so, you know, kind of that setup happens relatively quickly, and you follow what happens in the immediate aftermath of that deal to stop that wedding, and her dealing with the ramifications of that and trying to figure out what she can do. And you know, she keeps running into the Prince of Hearts in various settings and needs to find a way to deal with the deal that she's made. But it's just fun. It's very yeah, I don't know if whimsical is the vibe, but definitely a very fairy tale vibe so far, which honestly I'm kind of in the mood for. So I mean, it's fitting the bill for my mood and what I'm looking for right now. So having a good time with that. As I said, I haven't read more of Witches Steeped in Gold, but we'll see what the next few days brings. I am heading off of work early tomorrow to go with my boyfriend to a tiny house for my birthday weekend, so I'm very excited about that. We'll see how far I can get into Once Upon a Broken Heart. I'm listening to the audiobook right now and enjoying the audiobook. I might bring Witches Steeped in Gold. We'll see if I'm kind of feeling that as we head out, and see what I decide to pack at the last minute. I'm also thinking about taking the Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green. This is one of the book of the month books that I need to get to, and I'm very excited to just read his thoughts on random things. So I think at the very least I'll take Once Upon a Broken Heart and the Anthropocene Reviewed to the tiny house. We'll see how much reading I actually do. I have no idea. We're just gonna hang out. We're probably gonna go to a winery, I hope. I think there's some good wineries around there, and just chill and have a relaxing weekend. So we'll see what reading happens or not. I'm not gonna put too much pressure on myself to get all the books read, and we'll see if any bookish thing happens on my birthday. I might decide to swing by a bookstore, so we'll see. I might include this weekend in this portion of the vlog, since I've only checked in a few times so far. I'll probably include that in this vlog and then cut it off. But we'll see what reading happens this weekend, and we'll see if I go to a bookstore on my birthday. And we'll see if my boyfriend gets me a book for my birthday. Sometimes he gets me books, and it's very sweet, so he might get me one for my birthday. But yeah, we'll see what reading happens this weekend. We'll see if I go to a bookstore on my birthday or not. Yeah, so I need to get back to work, but I will check in on how my reading is going on those few books and see what happens this weekend. Oh hey, so I'm gonna wrap up this vlog. It was such a fun weekend. I didn't end up vlogging anything, but I'll see if I can put some images on the site here as I'm talking through a few things. So we left on Friday to go to a tiny house, an Airbnb tiny house, and hang out. So I'll put some images of the tiny house here. It was so cute. And we had a really good time. On a Saturday we were able to go to some wineries and get some really cool pictures and drink some delicious wine, have a good time. And I did get some reading done as well. Actually, I did finish the audiobook of Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I think I finished that one on Friday night, just hanging out before bed, and we were doing some reading, so I think that was when I actually finished it. And this one was so cute. This was exactly what I was in the mood for. It's YA fantasy, very fairy tale-esque, and that can kind of mean some very distinct things. So if that's not what you're in the mood for, then it might not be something that you enjoy. But it was fun, it was whimsical, and in fairy tales, I kind of find that you don't tend to get a lot of in-depth character work. The characters can kind of sometimes be generic stand-ins to kind of help tell the story or help you put yourself in the story to kind of get the lesson of the story, or get the moral of the story. And so the character work wasn't super in-depth. I don't think there was any standout work in terms of the characters, but it was super fun, and it was fun to follow Evangeline, and her sister is about to marry the guy that she loves, and she's trying to break off this wedding and contacts or gets in touch. And so she talks to the Prince of Heart, Jax, and makes a deal that she probably shouldn't make. That part happens relatively quickly, and so she's trying to, and she does some things to kind of help make up for getting into a deal that was more than what she bargained for. And she's trying to move on from some things, but Jax keeps coming back in her life to make her fulfill her promise that was her part of the bargain. And so she gets caught up in some conspiracies that that not only surround that wedding. There's also, she also gets caught up in a whole bunch when she's invited to attend a ball in another kingdom for the prince to find his bride, and there's a whole set of things going on there, and she ultimately needs the Prince of Hearts. She ultimately needs Jack's help to get out of some other things that she gets into, and it was just fun. It was just entertaining. There were just some fun twists and turns, and I had a good time. With that. We also finished, we were listening to this one in the car. It was a decent drive to the tiny house, so we were actually listening to the Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green in the car. And we both loved this one a lot. So this is a nonfiction collection of essays from John Green about random things. And he is reviewing different aspects of just the age that we live in and everything that it has meant for how we live our life and how we navigate life. And so he talks a lot about his own personal experiences throughout this book, and kind of ties them to some everyday things, and it was super, it's kind of hard to describe exactly the feeling that I got listening to this. We did listen to the audiobook, which was narrated by John, and it was a delight to listen to. I'm also going to want to go back and reread the physical copy I have and annotate it, because it's just super, it's entertaining, it's thoughtful, it's insightful, and I really liked just the interesting conversations that he has throughout the book. It kind of goes back and forth between some more serious topics, but also with a very lighthearted tone throughout parts of it as well, and some of it is just about his thoughts on some mundane things that have just been a part of his world, but also just how things he's learned over the years as a writer, as a YouTuber, just as a person, trying to get by, and it was definitely very interesting. We had a ton of fun listening to this one again. So funny, so interesting. And I would highly recommend. I think if you enjoy his humor in general, then and you enjoy watching his videos, I think you're gonna have a great time, either reading, listening, however you want to consume this. I think it's something you're really gonna enjoy. And yeah, we finished that right as we were heading back. I then did go to Barnes & Noble because I wanted to treat myself for my birthday. All the books are back at my apartment. I'm currently at my boyfriend's house. But I did pick up a physical copy of Empire of Gold by S.A. Chakraborty. I had the first two in the David Bow trilogy in physical form, and I wanted to get the third one as well. I listened to all of them on audio, but I wanted to get a physical copy of the third one for when I reread it. And I also got A Gathering of Shadows, the second one in the Darker Shade of Magic series. I'm pretty sure that one's Gathering of Shadows, and then Conjuring of Light is the third one. But I got the second one because I had been able to find the first and third one at various used book places. I don't remember where exactly I got each of them, but I had gotten them for a discount and didn't have the second one, never found the second one on discount. And it was kind of bothering me that I have the first and the third one and not the second one. So I decided to just go ahead and get the second one. And I also decided to splurge on one book I have not read, and that is Hotel Magnifique, I believe by Emily J. Taylor, I think is the author's name. I'll put an image here. And this one just sounds so fun. This one has been on my radar. I think I talk about this one in my most anticipated releases for the first half of the year video. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it there. But it's giving me Night Circus vibes if Night Circus was about a hotel. Very whimsical, magical realism about this mysterious hotel, and it just sounds super intriguing and just a vibe that I'm really gonna love. My boyfriend also thought it sounded very interesting and said that he would also potentially be interested in reading it, so that was enough justification for me to go ahead and get it. And so I did go ahead and get those few things as a little birthday gift to myself. But yeah, it was a great weekend. I'm gonna go ahead and end this vlog here, and I'll pick up in a next vlog that will cover the next couple of weeks of the rest of April, potentially into very early May. We've got some people coming into town the last weekend of the month. So I might spill over a little bit into the beginning of May to finish some of my Magical Readathon books potentially, but I'll have another vlog that covers the rest of the Magical Readathon experience. But I think I'm doing pretty well so far. I'm getting through a decent number of books. I'm still going through the physical, I'm physically reading Witches Steeped in Gold, and I've also started another fairy. I've started Year of the Reaper as well, so I'm listening to that one on audio, but I'll talk about those in a future vlog. So thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more bookish content, and I'll leave information down below either that I mentioned, or also leave my Twitter and Instagram and more information about how you can support the Black Lives Matter movement, and I will see you in the next one. Bye everyone.